sign's not on.
It's not time? Oh,
It's 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
Is Lisa running on time there, Patrick, or not?
Oh, it should be 7.
The sign broke. What, our new sign break already?
Aw,
All right, I have 7 o'clock. We will call the town board meeting for July 20th, 2026 to order. First item is the agenda. Patrick?
If you're asking for changes, none from staff, Mr. Chair.
We have a rep from White Bear Press. I would like to put that in right after approval of the meeting minutes.
Sounds good.
Board have anything?
Nope.
Nope. All right, hearing none, I need a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, item 3 is approval of payment of bills. You signed, Steve?
I did. I move approval payment of the bills.
I'll second.
Motion's made and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, item 4 is approval for the previous meeting minutes of July 6th. Anybody have any changes?
Mr. Ruzek did, Mr. Chair.
Yeah. First off, in the consent agenda, that minutes from last meeting, there was confusion, and we were looking for clarification on an appointee of Trey Spilly as to what commission he was going to be on. And
He's here. You can ask him.
hey, mystery man, you're on like 3 committees all at once, even though you're really not. So I think we need to clear up that note that he was going to be appointed to the unexpired term on the planning commission, because it's clear that he's really going to be on the utility commission, which is on this agenda. No. Well, 2. That's not my, it's our policy that 2 is.
All right, so how do you want this to read, Steve?
Well, I think that it says requested to pull the item, because we did, the planning commission due to clerical errors, and to discuss that further, which we did, but I think we were really, the discussion had to do with you filling the unexpired term, and it's really not true, is not filling that unexpired term. You're going to the utility commission. So I don't know how we can really correct this yet.
Does he resign from the planning commission and then we just?
No, I think if it was just an error, and we'll just make the change.
Okay.
So, with that, then I have another question as it relates to page 5 of the packet of the notes that talked about the deer hunt. The gentleman from the DNR is listed as Mr. Good and Nature, and I think his name is Good Nature.
Nature.
And so if you'd fix that, that would be, outside of that, that's it.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the minutes as amended?
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, that motion carries. All right, we have a rep from the White Bear Press. Carter, would you like to come on up, introduce yourself, and
Township residents and staff that we had an error in the recent article. And we apologize for that. We've worked the last 2 days with Patrick and staff to get a correction ready. That will be in this week's paper. And once we found out about the error, we appreciate that call. We did it immediately on the website. And we deeply apologize for that confusion and the many phone calls that each one of you deal with. As always, again, we're here to serve the community. We need that sort of information. We always be open to ideas and recommendations of things that we should
Carter, do you have the retraction or already typed up, or do you have that with you tonight or not?
Do have a little, summary. Patrick, did you get to see that?
Mm-mm.
I don't know if I have the final because I believe there was some correspondence going on.
Okay, well, just for the listening audience, folks at home, this has got to do with the contract dispute between the city of White Bear Lake and White Bear Township on their our fire contract. And the article that was put out in the paper read like we had lost a court battle and White Bear had won the court battle when it hasn't even gone to court yet. So obviously, we're all getting phone calls wondering what's going on, but I know you took it down from the website, and you'll have a formal retraction next week. But I personally wanted you to come here so we could get it on record tonight also, so we can stop the misinformation that's floating around.
It's my understanding it's going to read very closely. The article, the White Bear Township says, city misled them in July 15th issue of White Bear Press. Contained an error. The document the reporter referred to was a memorandum in support of the summary judgment from the city of White Bear Lake, Lake's attorney, not a summary judgment from the judge. No opinion has been issued regarding the city of White Bear Lake's request for a summary judgment. And we apologize for the confusion. That's my understanding.
Steve, comments, questions?
I mean, as you stated, is factual. I mean, it hasn't been decided. The other piece that needs to get corrected is in the minutes of the meeting that was right next to it. There was a summary of the White Bear Township board meetings of that night, and nowhere in there does it even mention that we talked about the resolution. And some people read only that. Some people might read the whole newspaper, but for longevity purposes, it needs to have that corrected also. That's where this story that was published came from the minutes of our meeting. Well, it's a summary of what supposedly took place. I wouldn't call it the legal minutes because we didn't approve that. But if you want to make it clear, I think it needs to be mentioned that that was part of the agenda topic, was the possible resolution. Chad?
Well, that's right. I mean, the legal minutes are those adopted by the town board. Whatever appears in the paper is simply a summary.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Beth?
You guys did it all. Thank you.
Well, I'm just, obviously this is going to go before a judge, but if it was going before a jury, I would feel a little worse because now we're court of public opinion was swayed a little bit before this has even been going to court. So, but we appreciate you trying to make every correction you can because it takes a little bit to undo this, to get it back out there.
Yeah, and again, we apologize, and I understand you've received a lot of phone calls and a lot of time that has been.
I'd make one more further comment to you, Carter. I value the press publications as our local newspaper. There's far too many of them today, and it's a local source for the whole community to know what's going on in our area. So I'm not interested in saying we're not doing business with you because I think it's important to have the local paper cover our story. So I do appreciate that, and I still support the press.
Thank you very much.
All right, we appreciate you coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on. Item 5, consent agenda item. We have 2. The board comfortable with them, or you want to send them on?
I just spoke to Trey out in the hall, and I gotta check what our clerk processed, but he is stating that it's utility commission and planning that he is going to serve on for our long-term boards, and then temporarily with our steering committee, which he is more than welcome to do so. It's just we got the wrong one in here. It shouldn't be EDAB. It should be planning and utility.
Okay, so EA is off, right?
That is off.
Okay.
And he's filled out applications for both, and he was already accepted on the
Yep.
planning
So
commission.
we really just have to do utility.
We'll get you on it.
He's working hard to get there, so we'll accommodate.
You're committed, let me tell you.
So with that change, I would submit the consent agenda to you, Mr. Chair.
All right, do we formally have to remove 5A to amend that, Chad, or not?
You should.
So I need a motion to approve consent agenda item 5B.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, then I'll pull out 5A, the Utility Commission Economic Development Advisory Board. So this is going to read, he will now be filling in the expired term for the Utility Commission and Planning Commission.
And we already approved him for planning, so we only have to have utility on here.
All right, any other questions on that? Do I have a motion?
A motion to approve is being on the Utility Commission this evening, correct? And we're no longer having him on the Economic Development Advisory Board.
Correct.
Second.
Motion's made, second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Thanks,
Right.
Trey.
Item 6A, this is the Public Works Building Addition Remodel. Larry, are you going to go over this for us?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair and Town Board. The Public Works building itself was constructed in 1988 and was an addition to the shop area, as well as the lunchroom was constructed in 2005. The administrative section of the building itself is due for some much-needed updates. Part of that was updated in 2005, but parts weren't. And since that time, we've come across in your packet. You see a number of photos, some issues that we need or would like to address with the building addition remodel. One is some shared space issues, and you can see some of the photos in the packet of shared office spaces. Makes it difficult at times to have conversations when offices are shared that way. One of our spaces is a training area, as well as the records room and the water lab. So you can see that photo in the packet as well. Some other issues, just damage and wear and tear as a public works building. Our crews are in the field every day, and they come back, and while they do their best to get clean, they bring in dust, dirt, sometimes grease, oil, and just over time, it just takes a toll on the facility. And you can see some of those pictures in the packet. We also had some roof damage in 2024, and a temporary fix to the building was completed in 2024, but we do need to renovate or fix that issue as a part of this project. We'd like to pull it all together in one project. We did receive an insurance settlement for that roof portion of the project. Our locker rooms are vintage 1988 and don't have the space and fixtures needed for our current staff. Our HVAC was installed in 2005 with that update, and it needs attention. We have spaces that air and from the outside is coming in, so we have some energy issues and heating issues in the building itself. We do have some also have some potential mold issue on the front side of the building behind the stucco that can be seen on the interior of the building. And then we also have at some point, I think maybe after 2005, the mechanics bay was moved over to another portion of the facility, and that mechanics bay is lacking in terms of air movement. There's concern for carbon monoxide in that part of the facility, and also has some heating and cooling issues. In terms of customer service, our entry is somewhat lacking. It's a small vestibule, if anyone's been there, with a doorbell. We get many deliveries to the building as well. And so would like to have that interface be more customer friendly for our vendors and residents. And then we don't have a conference room, so if there are people that come to meet with us, we either walk up to the admin building for the meeting or our meeting in the lunchroom that may or may not be occupied with people having their breaks or lunch. So in 2022, the town reviewed options for a building remodel and came up with a concept that was vetted at that time, and a budget was prepared and it was placed into the capital improvement plan. And so we're here today. Now we've planned for it. We've dedicated the funds in our capital improvement fund, and we're ready to get started on the project. So the town board reviewed the Public Works building. We did a slideshow in April and talked more about it in May, and authorized us to go out for an RFP for consultant services for an architect. And the town board wanted us to have go for more than 3 that we were proposing, and we went for 5 architects. We went and looked at 5 architects to get quotes, pricing, and their information in their proposal. We evaluated those proposals from the 5 architects, and I should say 4 architects. Of the 5, only 4 submitted. The 5th architect we chose and talked to ahead of time decided they were too committed to complete the project. So we received 4 proposals from architects, and we evaluated them with a 5-person team to evaluate the proposal. And we evaluated on the firm background, their relevant experience, their team, their work plan and approach, the fee, and then we interviewed 3 of those 4. And so tonight we're recommending Ortel Architects be selected for the project for a cost of $353,673. The original budgeted amount, when you include for the project itself, when you include the remodel, the roofing, and HVAC is also in our budget. It was $2,885,000 with current estimates and including the architect fees. We're looking at a project cost now of $4.4 million in terms of the cost for the project. So I'm happy to talk through how I evaluated these proposals, but there's 2 other members up here that can talk about how they scored the proposals. But we're looking for a board action tonight to accept the proposal and enter into a contract with Ortel Architects for not to exceed cost of $353,673 for the Public Works building addition and remodel.
Steve?
Well, understanding that the first step in any of these large projects is to have consulting, design, and engineering. So the consulting architect has to be a piece of this. So I'm comfortable that the team that evaluated them fairly looked at what the proposal is, not that we're committing to anything, and this is the cost based off your parameters for a bid for services. So no, I'm more interested in this first step than what the final design is, because that's still speculative in my opinion. So
It is.
I think as far as the first part of the process is, number one, do we need it? And I think pretty much that decision is it does need to be fixed and arranged. Secondly, what's the next step? And that's to find an architect firm that we feel comfortable with, so that we can talk concept and ultimately come to a project that we can live with. So
Yeah, we got some pretty good ideas on design too that we'll have to flush through too.
yeah. So no, I'm comfortable with the process, and I'm comfortable with the selection process.
I would have to agree, because I know how this happens, and I think you know, you've done it. Do you want to reiterate the fact that we're not asking for more money? We've been saving for this project, correct?
Yes,
So
we have a,
people understand that we've been saving, and it's not going to appear in the levy? Okay.
Yeah.
So residents know that.
it's the capital park fund that multiple funds feed into that, the water fund, the sewer, storm sewer. And they all feed into that fund. And so it's a project that will consume a lot of dollars that one year, but then it's metered out over time with that fund.
Right.
With the funding, the price tonight for the architectural design, is that paid this year on this?
No, it's paid as they go.
Okay, so-
A good portion would be this year, but this carries us all the way through construction.
Okay.
And when is that anticipated?
Yes, I should have gone over that. So the schedule itself, we would look at doing a lot of conceptual work here this summer, moving in toward design and final design to be completed in January, bidding it at that time, and starting the project in April. Construction project would go most of the rest of that year.
So the 2027 primary project.
Yes.
And the whole point too, I think, talking to the architects, we want to make this building kind of appeal as the administrative buildings. So it's a little bit more compatible versus a metal tin roof up against it, which I think our offices are nice looking buildings. And that's part of the architectural design process. So, and we, you know, and we bounce some ideas by them, but we're not going to see that until they actually give them the go-ahead. We're not going to see them for when. When do you suppose we'll get some kind of concept design?
Yeah, this fall.
Yep. All right, any other questions, Lair?
Nice work.
You got anything to add, Pat? Seeing as though you were part of the, I know all the architects were really close in cost, and they're all more than capable of doing this job. But when you get to meet them face to face, you get more of a comfort level with certain ones. And that's kind of what also ran our decision. So,
I'm going to ask this question, but are they local?
Yes.
actually, all of them were, weren't they? Yeah. All right, hearing no other questions, I need a motion.
I'll move based on the proposed evaluation team review and recommendation, approve a contract with Ortel Architects in an amount not to exceed cost of $353,673 for design and construction services for the Public Works Building addition and remodel.
Second.
Motion's made and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. All right, moving on. We have a number of public hearings. The first is 2340 County Road J. This is a conditional use permit for a cannabis micro business. I'm going to need a motion to waive the reading.
I'll move to waive the reading that was properly published.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. And then I need a motion to open up the public hearing.
I'll move to open the public hearing.
A second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, Andrew, you going to go over this for us?
So I'll try to just. Thank you, Larry. Okay, Town Board. Tonight you have a conditional use permit for 2340, 2350 County Road J. This is the exact same conditional use permit that the board saw in August of last year and approved a 6-month extension for in February. The applicant, Faulkner Properties, is still working through OCM's licensing process and did not appear to be completing it at the day of this meeting anyway. So they need a new conditional use permit. The location is the location of an existing property management company owned by the owner, Faulkner Properties, LLC, is zoned light industrial I-1. No further extensions of the original CUP are allowed, so that's why the applicant had to submit a new conditional use permit. But as I said, this is the exact same application and materials that you guys saw the first time around. Planning Commission gave a positive recommendation at their June 25th, 2026 meeting. The proposed new cannabis micro business consists of cultivation for sale to licensed Office of Cannabis Management businesses. No retail activities are proposed. They would require an amendment to the conditional use permit if they so desired, and would also include a retail endorsement on their license. Cannabis micro businesses are allowed in the I-1 district as conditional uses, requiring a conditional use permit per section 9-4. The property is a legally conforming lot with the structures at the 2340, 2350 County Road J used for the owner's property management business. The applicant proposes using portions of the existing buildings to accommodate a 3,100 square foot operation at the 2350 building and 2,900 square feet at the 2340 building. These spaces will contain a grow and dry room, processing, packaging, product storage with office and conference room spaces included. There are no exterior modifications proposed to the building or site as proposed that would impact setbacks or site coverage. The property is located on the northeastern boundary of the township, east of Highway 61 North and south of North County Line Road E, 120th Street North on County Road JE, with existing access off of 120th Street North. To the north, the city of Hugo begins with a single-family home, agricultural land, and the Onka Ridge Golf Course further east. The property abuts to the east, south, and west by additional I-1 or light industrial properties with existing tenants. Properties zoned B2 general business are to the west, and R1 suburban residential single-family housing developments are to the east. The property is not within 1,000 feet of a parcel containing a school or within 500 feet of a parcel containing a daycare, residential treatment facility, or public park features satisfying the general buffer requirements for 7-20.2, applying to all cannabis uses. The following standards apply to all cannabis uses. The applicants are required to submit a security plan, waste management plan, plans showing that they meet all state and local standards related to odor. The use is only permitted within enclosed structures, and no outdoor storage of cannabis products or lower potency hemp products are permitted. Within the township, the number of licensed cannabis retailers, cannabis micro business uses with a retail operation endorsement, and cannabis micro business uses with a retail endorsement shall be limited to one registration per 12,500 residents. The first time the applicant applied, there were 6 for Ramsey County. We are up to 29. The maximum is 43 before the township is no longer obligated to consider a cannabis business. As I mentioned, the application and the materials are the exact same as what was previously approved. Security measures proposed include all areas of the tent operations using door controls and motion sensors connected to a security reporting service for monitoring. Cameras monitored for all areas by management. Alarms reported to the security reporting service will be sent to management, and the system will be installed and serviced by Schmidt Security Incorporated. This is part of their licensing requirements, is that they submit a security plan to OCM. The business will handle waste by delivering organic waste from harvesting to an OCM-approved recycling site. And then as part of the waste management plan required by OCM, the applicant is required to establish appropriate solid waste standards for the disposal of cannabis flower and products, packaging, recycling materials, and any other solid waste. The applicant is required to install mechanical equipment in each of the 4 grow rooms to regulate temperature, humidity, and circulation, with each system taking in fresh air and exhaust room air to create the necessary air movement for plant development, and then use air exchanges through each system to minimize odors. Each room will be sealed off from adjacent spaces, and the business is required to maintain a ventilation and filtration system sufficient to meet the requirements for odor control established by OCM. And then odors are also subject to the standards established by the MPCA and cannot allow emissions beyond the property line. The applicant is only proposing cultivation within the enclosed structure, and no outdoor cultivation or storage of cannabis products is proposed or allowed. The proposed cannabis micro business use does not contain a retail dispensary endorsement. nor do they intend to provide retail sales, but focus exclusively on business to business sales. No on site consumption is allowed. And then, as I previously mentioned, staff in the Planning Commission and Town Board previously found that all of the applicable criteria for a conditional use permit were satisfied. This is the exact same application, so staff feels that all of these criteria have been met. There were comments from the fire inspector that I'd just like to go over. They're the same as what the fire inspector provided the last time. First is that approval to operate may require a building remodel, design change, or occupancy change. All such items would require a building and fire permit through township staff. More detailed plans will be required for approval to operate. Further review will be necessary to determine code compliance, including detailed operational plans, equipment, chemical use, storage that will need to be reviewed prior to approval to operate. Hazardous materials in cannabis facilities. The plan review must take into consideration all hazardous materials that will be used, dispensed, and/or stored on the premises. The use of carbon dioxide, for example, will likely drive additional requirements from the International Fire Code for ventilation or gas detection. Any flammable liquids and gases used in the operation would be subject to the maximum allowable quantities provisions from IFC Chapter 50. If the maximum quantity is exceeded, the facility becomes a hazardous Group H occupancy under the International Building and Fire Codes. Hemp is considered a combustible fiber and subject to all requirements found in IFC Chapter 37 and the maximum allowable quantities in Chapter 50. The IBC and IFC provide options for the design professional to avoid classifying the building as a Group H occupancy. One option is to separate the building into fire areas where each control area is below the maximum allowable quantity. Also be aware that cannabis plants are combustible and they do burn. If the plants are stored above 12 feet in height, the high piled storage provisions may apply. And then the county provided comments stating that the ongoing reconstruction of County Road J is occurring until November 26th. If construction takes place during this time, construction traffic shall be coordinated with the county's general contractor for the project. There were no other comments received. And for that, the town board has the following options for the cannabis micro business conditional use permit. Approve the request with or without conditions, deny the request with findings for denial, or table the request for further review and study. With that, I will take any questions you have. I believe the applicant is in attendance.
I have no questions because this is just a repeat of what we already went past twice.
Give us an update on what's going on with the OCM? Why is this taking so long?
I can't really speculate. We are one part of their process. I know that it has kind of been a difficult rollout, and I think that it has kind of occurred in batches as they've done approvals, but I really can't speak to what OCM's holdup has been. We've done our process, and the town has approved the conditional use permit. It had 6 months before activities could start, and then the extension for another 6 months. That was essentially all the town could do in terms of the timeline for getting this approved. So the applicant was concerned about the approval expiring before the licensing could be approved.
Well, you said 29 of 43 have been applied for. Any idea if any of those have actually
Those are
given?
29 that have been received
They've been received, but have they been approved and sent on?
by OCM, yes.
All right, so you're saying is there's only
14
14 left. Okay,
before the township is no longer under an obligation to consider them.
all right. Chad, I don't know, how many times can we do this? Keep updating this application?
We're not updating, we're not renewing an
Renewing.
old application. He's actually a whole new application.
But it's basically copyright from the last one.
Well, it is, but again, it's not the applicant's fault. It's the state's Office of Cannabis Management that can't seem to get its act together.
We just can't.
That may be a little
we can't-
unfair,
We just can't
but
do another.
that's the issue here.
extension.
And this has kind of been a common sentiment that I think has been heard across the metro anyway. I'm not sure if other, outside of the metro is dealing with the same issue, but it's a pretty common complaint.
Right, so
It's not the failure of the applicant, it's the failure of the state, and nothing the applicant can do until that happens.
okay, what I'm curious is if those 14 remaining permit, if those are issued before this applicant, he's done?
It doesn't necessarily have any weight on what you're being asked to do tonight, if that answers your question.
All right, any other questions, of Andrew?
No.
All right, I need a motion to open up for public comment.
I'll move to open the hearing up for public comment.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, I know the applicant's here. If you want to come up, name and address for the record, then you can vent your frustrations.
Oh, well, good evening, Chair Prudhomme and board members, Andrew and staff. Jim Faulkner from Faulkner Properties LLC. I'm the owner of the building. I'm the applicant, first and second time around. The actual operation will be with a separate entity called Township Enterprise LLC, which is the applicant for the permit from OCM. I'm the landlord, they will be the tenant. So just to clarify, but we're following the required protocol that the landlord get the conditional use permit to hold that and proceed. Fortunately, we just heard within the last couple of days that our application is in the queue for a final review in the next 60 to 90 days. That's the first time we've actually ever been given any kind of a time frame whatsoever in the 18 months process. So that's a positive situation that we are absolutely moving ahead. We've continued to work on our planning, administrative work, and so forth, as myself as the landlord and as the tenant, to proceed with our improvements and to ultimately get into business at some time. But we knew we'd have to be very patient. We understood from the very beginning that this could take 2 to 3 years, and in fact, it now has. But we're very excited about getting going and getting into business. There's a tremendous market, and retailers are opening, but having a great difficulty getting product because they haven't approved us growers yet. So that's pretty much where we're at, and pretty excited about moving ahead and hopefully to be putting plants in place before the end of the year.
All right, board have any questions of Mr. Faulkner? All right, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Jim.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak to this issue? Going once, going twice. All right, I need a motion to close the public portion.
I'll make a motion to close the public portion of the hearing.
I'll second.
Motion's made, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. What's the pleasure of the board?
Well, I'll move based on what we've heard tonight, plus the first and the second go-round with this, and it's the same process that we approve the new application for conditional use permit for the cannabis micro business with the conditions noted in the packet.
A second?
I'll second that. We don't need to set it to resolution.
No, I think we clarified which ones there.
Okay.
All right, motion's made, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, that motion passes. Good luck, sir.
Thanks, Jim. I'll follow up with you on next steps.
All right, moving on. Our second public hearing is for 0 Centerville Road. This is a conditional use permit request for Connexus Energy. Again, I need a motion to waive the reading.
I'll make a motion to waive the reading that was properly published.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, then I need a motion to open up the public hearing.
I'll move to open the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Andrew, you got this one too?
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Town Board, before you, you have a conditional use permit for 0 Centerville Road. This is an existing electrical utility substation in the I-1 Light Industrial District. The applicant is proposing upgrades to improve capacity, safety, equipment reliability, and fencing. The work is limited to the existing fenced area, and electrical utility substations are conditional uses in I-1, requiring a conditional use permit under Section 9-4. The Planning Commission gave the application a positive recommendation at their June 25th, 2026 meeting. And the property is a legally conforming lot and existing substation metering building. The improvements to support reliability, safety, and future capacity include replacing the metering building within the existing footprint and reusing the transformer pad. Add communications pole equipment and barbed wiring fencing. And there are no changes that proposed that affect setbacks or site coverage. The proposed improvements include installing a higher capacity transformer on the existing pad to step down 69 kilowatt or kilovolt to 13.2 kV and distribute the load across feeders. Remove 3 existing voltage regulators, upgrade electrical protection equipment, add 2 feeder bays for future expansion and improved outage reliability, and then replace the existing corroded building with an 8x8 stainless steel metering building, disruptor, and barbed wire on top of foot of existing fence. The property is located on the township's northwestern boundary, west of I-35E and south of County Road J East. The site is on Centerville Road with access through the Schwinn America property. The property has a county road address, but is not accessed from the county road. And the town attorney stated that due to the building in use commencing in 1980, that the property has a prescriptive easement and access to the right-of-way. That upper address is incorrect for Schwinn America. It's 5900. And one of the things that the Planning Commission brought up, along with the fire inspector, was just the 0 Centerville Road address not working for the purposes of providing emergency services. So as a condition of approval, they requested that the address be changed with the county to something that is more definitive so that they can provide emergency services. And the county has already changed the address to 5898 Centerville Road. The surrounding zoning to the area is I-1 light industrial to the south, B2 general business to the north, I-35 to the east, and then R1 suburban residential properties and Otter Lake are located east of I-35E. And there's several criteria that the town board must make before approving a conditional use permit. First is that the site is compatible and the impacts must avoid negative aesthetic, noise, traffic, vegetation, erosion, floodplain, or natural feature impacts. The project improves an existing substation by replacing outdated or corroded equipment and upgrading the site. Second is health, safety, and welfare. The use must meet town board requirements to protect public health, safety, and welfare. Conditions are recommended to ensure that the project does not negatively impact the health, safety, and welfare of the town. And then the majority of the improvements are designed for reliability and safety improvements. Third, fire safety. Fire prevention equipment must be available where flammable or explosive materials are handled or stored. The applicant is required to identify any potential handling or storage of flammable or explosive materials and adhere to all applicable local, state, and federal rules and regulations, including the fire code, as a condition of approval. Fourth is utility availability charges. The applicant is responsible for any applicable whack and sack charges. If water or sewer improvements are required, this is a standard condition that's attached to most applications. If there are any changes to water availability or sewer availability charges, those are captured through the building permit process and will be enforced as a condition of approval. Fifth, the natural, scenic, environmental, historic features. The use must avoid damage to natural, scenic, environmental, or historic features. The project remains within an existing developed site on an existing pad and does not propose any additional removal. Sixth, property values. The use must not depreciate adjacent property values. No depreciation is expected. Seventh, site design and landscaping. The buildings, grounds, and landscaping must be compatible with the adjacent properties. This is a property in the middle of an industrial area and an industrial property. So the existing use still remains compatible and the improvements will be compatible with the surrounding properties. Eighth, access and traffic. Vehicular access and parking must minimize congestion. There are no changes proposed to the access or traffic increases are proposed. The Planning Commission, one of their concerns was just whether the property had access to the right of way because it does not have any front street frontage. And just working with Chad, we determined that because of how long the use has been going on and the age of the building, that it likely has a prescriptive easement. Ninth, natural scenic feature preservation. Site features should be incorporated into the design. It's a concrete pad, and everything is kind of on top of that. So the project reuses existing built features and infrastructure, but there's very minimal nature or scenic features on site for them to preserve. 10th, noise, glare, and odor. The use must not create negative noise, glare, or odor impacts. No such impacts are expected. And finally is comprehensive plan consistency. The use must support objectives within the ordinance and then comprehensive plan policies. This is the light industrial district, and the comprehensive plan guides this for industrial land use. So this is consistent with the purpose and the uses allowed in these districts. As I mentioned, the fire inspector had concerns with the address being insufficient for providing emergency services. We've worked with Ramsey County. The address is being changed or has already been changed from 0 Centerville to 5898 Centerville Road. The Planning Commission also, as I mentioned, had concerns about the property having legal right-of-way access. This use has been established since at least 1980. So the property does have a prescriptive easement based on how they've used it. The town board has the following options for the electrical utility substation conditional use permit. Approve the request with or without conditions, deny the request with findings for denial, or table the request for further review and study. And with that, I will take any questions you guys have, and I believe the applicant is in attendance tonight.
I have none. If it's got the same footprint that it had, it's just updating safety and security for our residents. Perfect.
I agree with Steve.
All right, I need a motion to open up for public comment.
I'll move to open the hearing for public comment.
Second.
Motion made second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. I understand the applicant's here. Anything to add, subtract? Just need a name and address for the minutes.
Hi, I'm Erica Schmidt, representing Connexus Energy at 14601 Ramsey Boulevard Northwest in Ramsey, Minnesota. Thank you for having me today.
No speech prepared?
We're upgrading the substation with a more than double size capacity of transformer. A few years in the running because it takes about 4 years to get a substation transformer on order and delivered. And then we're adding a transruptor in its place of high side fuses for it's safer because it can operate quicker than a fuse and allows our linemen to be able to operate devices outside the fence. It's much safer.
Will the public notice any difference?
Well, I know you're on Connexus, aren't you?
I am on
So am I,
Connexus.
so, yeah, that's one of my questions, if there'd be a disruption in service at all.
Not as part of this project.
Wh-
Depending on where you were, there's some activities going on in the north between that intersection at County Road J and 35E, and our cables have been hit. So we're trying to time it right with the new cables we're installing, that they go in after the construction is done. Limit the amount of outages we have, but typically a planned substation outage, no one knows happens.
With this upgrade, does that help with power outages or not?
It just makes them quicker to restore and safer for the linemen working on them.
I know, I think when I built my house, I was told I was at the end of your line, so if you had an outage, wait. But so far, the response has been pretty good.
Welcome to Connexus Energy.
Yeah, so I'm right kind of at the border of XL and Connexus, minus Connexus. Neighbors just south of me are XL, and performance has been excellent with Connexus and outages.
So if we do have any concerns, we call you directly.
Directly.
We'll find it really quick.
Yeah, leave your personal cell phone number.
All right, any other questions for her?
No.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
All right, anybody else wish to speak to this? Hearing none? All right, thank you. All right, then I need a motion to close the public comment portion.
I'll move to close the public comment portion of this hearing.
Second.
Motion's made in second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so I'm looking for a motion for,
Want to pass the resolution? This one?
yeah, looking for.
Do you want to change it to the address?
I was going to recommend approve the conditional use permit for 0 Centerville Road, now changed to 5898 Centerville Road, with the conditions as noted in the packet. There were some, weren't you?
Yep.
Staff recommend-
I can read them out if you want. Otherwise, they are within the packet. I just ask essentially that number 3 be struck just because the address has already been changed.
Perfect.
All right, motion's made. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. All right, our last public hearing is for 1201 Birch Lake Boulevard North. Andrew, would that be you?
Would be me. Okay, Town Board, this is the last of the public hearings, and there are 2 applications associated with 1201 Birch Lake Boulevard. There are 2 parcels, first with the property ID 1630221400019, and the other 1630221400021. But both are addressed.
Did I ask for a waiver of the reading?
No, you did
I
not.
did not.
I'll move to waive the reading that was properly published.
Andrew is very excited.
You hear
Wait.
that?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, then I need a motion to open up the public
I'll
comment.
move to open the public hearing.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Appreciate you.
I guess let's keep it legal.
Yes.
1201 Birch Lake Boulevard North. There are 2 subject parcels, one of which contains the existing industrial warehouse office building for Techway, zoned I1 light industrial. The site consists of an industrial parcel, 29,672 square foot building, and an adjacent wetland stormwater parcel. There are 3 requests, 2 applications. First is a minor subdivision to consolidate the 2 lots with additional easement area added. And the second is an amendment to the permitted use standards permit that was approved in 2011 to allow the industrial building addition of 11,165 square feet. Industrial buildings are a permitted use in I1 per section 9-3. These properties are subject to a previous approval of a minor subdivision and permitted use standards for the initial industrial building that was approved on September 10th, 2011. There was contamination concerns that resulted in a change to the subdivision from 2 lots to 3 lots, including a separate northern parcel, basically to accommodate the construction schedule and also mitigate any potential delays caused from the remediation. The MPCA issued a no further action determination on December 28th, 2011, and the lots have to be consolidated to accommodate the new building addition and avoid the need for a variance. Located in the northwest corner of the town at the intersection of Birch Lake Boulevard North and White Bear Parkway east of I-35E. The southern property is 2.94 acres and the northern property is 3.55 acres in size. The southern property is generally flat, with the northern parcel having greater slopes towards the stormwater basin. There are 5 trees currently located along the shared driveway that are shown to be removed to accommodate the building addition. The I1 zone sets minimum standards for new development, and compared to the existing conditions below, the 2011 approval, everything met all required zoning and subdivision requirements. The proposed change conditions, the 2 parcels are being combined, so it meets the minimum lot area for the parcel. There's no change proposed to the minimum lot width. The setbacks will be 35 feet from the front, more than 15 feet from the side, and then more than 30 feet from the rear, with the parking being set back 33 feet from the right-of-way and the proof of parking set back 16.5 feet. And then the minimum green area, impervious surface maximum, the combined parcel will have a green area of 73.36%, which meets the minimum requirements, and the addition as condition meets the I1 zoning requirements. The minimum parking requirements are defined in section 7-6.1. The 2011 approval allowed for 72 total stalls to be approved, including 11 proof of parking stalls to meet the town's required parking totals. Proof of parking is essentially a parking concept that is triggered upon staff observation. If a land use essentially triggers the need for additional parking, that parking is already shown in the approved plans, and the applicant is essentially, as a condition of approval, required to build out that parking if need be. The amendment to the PUS removes 9 stalls and adds 11 stalls, with an additional 29 proof of parking stalls provided to meet the minimum required 92 stalls, which meets the town's parking requirements. As I mentioned, proof of parking, if needed to be constructed to meet parking requirements, will be based on the site plan dated May 18th, 2026. And then just to kind of go over how these parking calculations are figured out, 1 parking stall is required for office spaces for each 200 square feet. Warehouses, it's 1 parking stall per 1,000 square feet. And then industrial is 1 parking stall per 500 square feet, exceeding the 1 per each employee requirement, with difference used as the proof of parking. What was approved in 2011 was 71 stalls with 11 as proof of parking. The amendment would provide 92 stalls with 22 spaces as proof of parking. The subdivision ordinance number 15 sets requirements for subdivisions. The applicant proposes removing the common boundary separating the parcels and involves stormwater management and easement requirements, which is why it can't be processed as a lot line adjustment and is actually a minor subdivision. And then the existing stormwater infrastructure from the 2011 approval remains in place. And this is just an exhibit showing what the subdivision would look like once lots are combined. There is new easement area dedicated upon direction from the town attorney to preserve existing easement rights. Essentially, we needed to add additional easement area to avoid amending the existing legal description of the easement and its exhibit, because according to the town attorney, there would be potential risks with accidentally removing coverage that had previously been covered under that easement. And so staff and the town attorney felt that the best direction would be to just add additional easement area and not touch the existing easement's legal description or exhibit. So that's why they're proposing additional easement area. The project proposes an increase of impervious surface by 0.34 acres with higher runoff rates than the existing current conditions. The basin was constructed to a capacity of 29,235 cubic feet. The total area draining to the pond is 4.38 acres with an impervious surface area of 3.44 acres and 0.94 acres of pervious surface for a required total volume of 24,326 cubic feet. Civil plans dated May 18th, 2026 show the existing stormwater basin with a volume of 29,235 cubic feet at the elevation of the normal water level at 929.0, with an additional subcatchment included. The proposed minor subdivision meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance number 15. And this just shows you the new easement area and the legal description that was prepared. As a condition of approval, these would be required to be reviewed by the town attorney before they can record the subdivision. Permitted use standards. Permits require evaluation of compatibility with the surrounding properties, protection of natural resources and vegetation, traffic drainage, erosion, and flood impacts, preservation of existing trees where feasible, suitability of the site for the proposed use, building, landscaping, and site design compatibility, consistency with the comprehensive plan, and adequate public safety and fire protection measures. This is the building addition was brought up as part of the 2011 approval. So this is something that the Planning Commission, the town board at that time, knew was on the horizon for the applicant. It was just a matter of when they built that out. The applicant has demonstrated a willingness to install trees where feasible, as the landscape plan shows the removal of 5 trees necessary for the building addition. The Planning Commission requested additional tree plantings, and what is shown is consistent with the town's standards. The building addition is going to be compatible with the existing facility, and the materials and design will reflect the existing building within the industrial development. And then the elevations meet zoning and permitted use standards. Project plans were forwarded to township staff and external agencies for comments, and the only comments that we received were from the fire inspector, requiring fire sprinklers and a separate permit to verify coverage and pressure with the sprinkler contractor. All new and existing doors shall be keyed alike, and then quantities of desired storage of flammable gases and liquids required prior to final inspection. And the town board has the following options for 2 applications, with a separate motion required for each application. I would recommend starting with the minor subdivision application. The town board has the option to approve the minor subdivision request if compliant with town ordinance number 15, deny the request with findings for denial, or table the request for further review or study. And then for the amended permitted use standards application, the town board can approve the amended permitted use standards application if consistent with the zoning ordinance. 2, deny the request with findings for denial, or table the request for further review and study. And staff and the planning commission give a positive recommendation to the town board for approval of the minor subdivision consolidating the 2 lots into 1 parcel, address 1201 Birch Lake Boulevard North. And then staff and the planning commission also gave a positive recommendation to the town board to approve an amended permitted use standards application to allow for an industrial warehouse addition at 1201 Birch Lake Boulevard North. And both applications are subject to the conditions of approval found in the staff report attached to the packet. I believe the applicant's in attendance. And so with that, I'll take any questions you guys have.
Steve, were you on the planning
I,
commission meeting?
no, I was not, and the only thing I noticed was that the, had to do with the landscaping plan. Does that have to come back to the planning commission, or is that,
It's been approved.
been approved?
We're given a recommendation. It wouldn't go back to the planning commission unless there was changes the town board wanted to see, but I don't know that it would even, Chad, would it go back to the planning commission for any reason?
I don't see any reason why it would, no.
So you mentioned that they meet the requirements of our landscaping
Policy.
and, tree canopies today is so vital to keep as many trees as possible, so I read what the planning commission said, is put as many trees in as you possibly can on the site. And that was really my only question on the subdivision. Makes sense to combine them.
Beth?
I agree with Steve, because I did notice that they were gonna make them replant, so I was happy with that.
Well, that, and actually, I kind of asked our building inspector today, because he is reviewing the plans again today, so he didn't see anything that jumped out at him either, so. Hearing no other questions, I need a motion to open up for public comment.
I'll move to open the hearing for public comment.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? I know the applicants are here, you want to step up, name and address for the record, if you got any comments, or? I know Andrew did such a thorough job that,
He really did.
Jeff Desjardins, 928 172nd Avenue, New Richmond, Wisconsin. Thank you very much for taking a look at the application. We really need the space. We've over doubled in size since we moved in 2012. We're really not planning on adding any major machinery. We're just going to move it around so we have more assembly space for our equipment. So as we grow, we need the space. We figure we can probably double again. So,
well, we like to see businesses in the township do well. So
no, appreciate it.
we try to be accommodating for growth like that. It helps all of us. Any questions of the applicant?
By the way, we will replant some trees. If we can move them, we would.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak to this subject?
Ralph Tilma, 4294 Oakley Lane. What business is this and what do they do?
Takeaway?
Yeah, so we are
Excuse me, if you got to
Come
come
on,
back to the
back
mic.
It's in my neighborhood, that's why I'm interested.
So Techway is actually a manufacturer of in-motion weighing and metering equipment. So we make all types of feeders, belt scales, conveyor belts. They go into the anywhere between the food and food processing to chemical, as well as construction aggregates in the mining industry. So we are a metal manufacturing company. So we manufacture all different types of pieces of equipment. So.
Did that answer your question, Ralph? All right, thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else?
Hi, good evening. Kurt Rolling at 1185 Birch Parkway Boulevard. Here with Brian Tang. He's my business partner. We own the building together. Bought the building about 2 years ago. First, I just want to say congrats to Techway for the expansion. That's great. We like to see the growth in the area. So we do have some questions, though. We just got the plan and looked at it. There's quite a bit there. You know, it's a hefty plan. Some questions came up, and we're just not sure if we should bring detail up here or submit that maybe in an outline to have that looked at. But you know, things like the water runoff have been an issue. It's not something we've even addressed or talked to Techway about. You know, so but it is something that we'd like to make sure in the expansion we know there will be more watershed. And right now there's a good bit of it coming our way, and it pools up in front of us and it's causing problems. And so we've had people out to look at, you know, what would it take to fix that, and unfortunately it would have to go into their property. I think it sits on their property actually. So, but it's in the shared space where we need to get into our building. So that is one of our concerns, and just from the plan, it wasn't clear, is that being addressed? How would that be addressed? So we'd like to hear a little bit more about that or detail around that.
Did you see the outline of the, I'm not sure which it is, that it was addressing the water runoff?
I did, and like I said, I didn't see any provisions for what I was talking about. Their lot slopes toward the driveway we use, which is their land. And I believe it was because our building was built after the fact, after theirs, and it probably ran off to that corner, and now our driveway runs through that. So it's been each winter, I guess, it gets worse and worse, and right now it's just a huge pothole. So something that we want to address, something we want to fix, and something we know will be worse with the addition, and we just want to make sure the provisions are in to avoid that.
You have anything to comment on that, Andrew?
They provided a stormwater management plan, which I can pull up. It does suggest that the basin has enough capacity to accommodate the existing loads with enough capacity to accommodate the building addition that was proposed as part of, or included as part of the 2011 approval.
Yeah, I understand that 2011 approval was done before our building was built.
Existing condition.
I know I read through it, it was all Greek to me, so.
It was very intense.
Go, yeah, if you'd like. There's a bit of a story, I know.
So, contrary, your property was a hill, so which was removed. Yeah. So we have a lot of bituminous work that's going to be done. We're going to be adding onto the parking lot. We're going to be doing some things. We can take a look at that and look at taking up, because we're going to be grinding some off. So we'll take a look at that. Is that?
And if there are things we can do on our side to help it.
Yeah, absolutely. So.
Well, I know our building inspector is always conscious of any water not leaving the property and going to another property. It's usually centered towards runoff or ponds or storm or somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So we're very sensitive to that. So, and like I said, I think when I talked to Mike, he that was one of his questions, and he didn't seem to have, at least looking at the plans, he thought it was taken care of or addressed anyway.
Okay. We will address it.
Based on what I've seen today, it looks like there probably was a drain.
You'll have to stay up to the mic, though.
It looks like there probably was a drain in that corner that just got covered up.
Okay.
And then they are proposing a second subcatchment just to, again, like direct more of that runoff to the basin itself.
Well, when the site proceeds and you just want to keep in touch with Mike, Mr. Johnson, he's our building
Sure.
inspector. That'll help you guys. If there's any confusion, you can get it settled before things are completed. So.
You bet. Thank you. Appreciate that. A couple other minor concerns, I guess, but I know that, and this is probably something there is a backstory to also, but there's a bit, because we're sharing that space, it's a little hard for customers, suppliers to understand, like, am I going to Techway? Am I going to True North? And so I know there'd been in the past, like, I believe a sign was put up at the road for this building, and it's actually on your property. Is that the issue? So we, understand maybe that was done wrong. With the new space, their building will be kind of popping out further in front of ours. It will be even harder to see from the road. And we're just trying to make sure we have a way to notify customers, suppliers, this is where you go for True North. And we do have people driving around and, complaining a lot. So we're just looking for a nice, clear way to mark, this is where you go. Even if that was a road with a street name that we could say, Google Map, go here, and just some way to find, True North.
Would directional signage be what you're looking for?
Possibly.
I'm not sure that's a township issue, though. That sounds more like an issue that the two property owners should work out, and it seems like you get along pretty well. So
If that's what it comes down to, sure. Yeah.
I
Yep.
recommend that you two talk about it and get it worked out.
Yep. Like I said, I have not brought these up. Very recently saw the plans.
It is a shared driveway, is what you're.
It's their land.
It's their
and I
land,
believe
but
we've
you're.
been allowed use of it. It's the only way into our space.
So it looks like an issue that maybe you guys could really need to work on.
Sounds like a
Sure,
private
we
easement
can definitely take that up. So you understand our concern with that. All right.
And I can work with you guys separately as well, just to address any directional signage concerns.
Sure. Okay. Great.
Did you have a comment, Beth?
I was just wondering if it was a monument sign issue.
Is there a monument sign there? I don't go down that way very often.
I
No,
don't either, actually.
but it really would represent only their business because it's on their property. So, I mean, they'd have to work it out if you're gonna do any kind of signage.
Okay.
Is it possible to have a sign on either side of the driveway so people are clear?
Well, maybe, and some of that depends on, I guess the proposed parking or the. I wasn't clear if that additional parking was actually going to happen or if it is just
It's
allocated.
Proof of parking. If the need triggers for it, then the applicant would be required to build it out. But if it doesn't, then it's just conceptual.
What actually triggers the need, like the addition of people, or
It's the way the code is worded is it says staff observation.
because if that were added, it may come into play with, then I do not know if there'd be space to do that and if it would be very clear. Right now, I guess there is a bit of a, Techway this side, True North that side, but the fact is that's their land. So,
Chad, correct me. Can we do signage as part of either of these applications, or is that something that's more
That's more of a
administrative
private issue.
and we work through that separately?
Right, right.
okay.
It should be, I would presume, if you have, it sounds to me like there must be a joint driveway agreement on the properties.
Correct.
I would suggest you review that, but that's something you should deal with under that joint easement agreement.
Okay.
It sounds like you can, but, but really it's something the town's not really involved in.
Okay. Yeah, wasn't sure. Just something we wanted to clear up and get out in the open. So I'll take it to
It's a
Techway.
practical issue. I see your problem.
Yeah, right. It's a real issue to us. So,
Like I said, I'm willing to work with you guys just to address those issues.
I guess one of my concerns too is if that parking we're going in, there's a kind of a nice tree line along there blocking the runoff area. And if that weren't there, I guess that's what you'd see in front of our building. So we're not excited about that.
Again, that's on their property.
Well, yes,
So that-
right. To tell you the truth, I've seen property lines all over the place for this property. It's, I don't know why, but you know, it was kind of wedged in there, I know, at one point, and I'm not really clear where these lines really are.
Well, Andrew, since there's been an actual survey on the site,
Yep, there's a topographic
Survey.
one. Just pull it up.
so those lines should have been pretty much established, I would think.
Yeah, there should have been a survey done for the minor subdivision, so there should be some monuments out there.
Yeah, and
Right.
it's not to say that they're going to clear cut it either. I don't know, but that would be our concern.
Can I make a suggestion? Why don't you get together and walk the monument so everyone knows where it is?
Sure, yeah.
I understand your problem. That's what I do. And
Well, this
walk it.
This would be the
walk
time.
it. Yeah.
Right. Um,
Anything else?
Very minor, but just want to make sure would have clear access throughout the process of the, you know, the building's coming within feet of this driveway. So I didn't really see that addressed in the plan, but of course we need access throughout business hours and things like that.
That should be addressed in your joint driveway easement agreement.
Well, the problem is I didn't create that agreement. We inherited it.
Yeah, and the town didn't create it either, by the way.
All right.
What does True North do?
Automation, robotics for mostly medical device manufacturing.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Anything else? Okay.
Right.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
No, we appreciate that. It just makes the progress in the whole project go a lot smoother.
Yeah, and like I said, you know, we're glad you guys are growing, and congrats on that.
All right. Anyone else wish to speak to this? Going once, going twice. All right, I need a motion to close the public comment portion.
I'll move to close the public comment portion of the hearing.
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Is there any other questions of staff on this application? Otherwise, you want two motions, correct?
Yep, starting with the minor subdivision.
All right. So the first one would be the resolution for the minor subdivision.
Yeah, I had it up just a second.
Yeah, I'll move to approve the minor subdivision request. It complies with the ordinance, and you said it does.
As would be with staff recommendations also.
Yes, with staff recommendations.
A second.
All right, motion's made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And then the second one is the amendment to the permitted use standards permit.
Application, yeah.
I'll move to approve the amended permanent use standard application if compliant with town ordinance 35, and it does.
A second.
All right, motion's made and second. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? That motion carries. Good luck, gentlemen.
Jeff, John, I'll follow up with you guys on next steps. Brian, we can absolutely talk just about any other issues you guys have related to signage.
All right, moving on. Yeah, in new business, item 8A, this is the 3970 Lakewood Avenue / Stacker Boulevard.
Yes, Mr. Chair, just for clarification, the board did, by resolution, agree to sell the property to another party a couple months ago. That sale did fall through. But literally wasn't the same day as we officially closed that one. It might have been the day after. We had multiple offers on it. And we've got two that we're gonna have the board sort through tonight. Sherry, who is our agent for the property, has joined us. Our attorney has recommended that we do this in an open session because it is two parties involved, beyond the need for a closed session for real estate. What Sherry has distributed to you is where we are with the two offers this evening. And we can ask her up to the podium to kind of give us a backdrop and then proceed with some discussion on the merits and demerits of each.
Just so we're clear, normally negotiations involving sale of real estate are done in a closed session under statute. They're allowed, but the board can, if they wish, do an open session.
I think considering we've got two parties here, it's better to keep it in. An open
Yes,
session.
it makes more sense.
All right, Sherry, you want to come up? We need a name and address just for the record.
Hi, so my name is Sherry Burcham. I am a real estate agent with Coldwell Banker, and the address is 4801 Highway 61, Suite 100. Kind of piggyback with usually like the real estate discussions are done in a closed session. And with the other offer that fell apart, just keep in mind a lot of times price, terms, that stuff is not public. And it doesn't become public until after the property closes. So I just don't want anybody to unknowingly disclose any information if you want to keep it private. But I do have everything, like, so that right now there's two offers. I've got offer one, and then the purchase agreement with that behind the bullet points, and then offer two on the opposite side of the folder with the purchase agreement behind that. And I feel like the important things that you would want to look at and discuss are on the cover of each of those.
Chad, how should the board proceed with discussing these? Just straight up ask them.
Straight up ask them, yes.
Yeah, which one they prefer to go with.
Yeah,
At this rate, I mean, it's the property's been listed for what, 2 years?
Close to that.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's interesting. It took us a while to get an offer.
All of a sudden.
And then that one didn't work out. And then, yeah, now we've got two interested parties back to back. So
I do have one quick question before we go over these. There was an issue with the fence on the property line. Was that resolved?
Our building inspector did issue a removal notice of that fence, for that fence, I should say.
And that's going to be done by the neighbor?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Steve, questions, comments?
No, I've looked at both of them, and I'm comfortable where I'm at with it, but I don't know how we should discuss it, so I'm a little uncomfortable. I
We just-
don't know what I can ask and not ask, so.
Well, if I may, I would just limit yourself to the comparison of the two different offers, which is the purchase price,
Okay,
closing date, and any other terms. And
all right,
there really aren't any terms.
really, there aren't. So with that, I mean, I personally don't like a later closing date. I prefer the option one.
I prefer option one also.
Well, also, it makes sense. It's a better offer and it's quicker, just so we don't have another one that falls through, because it seems like the longer these things sit, there's
the
always
chances are,
finds a reason not to.
yep,
do it.
something could happen. With the option two, he does have a lot of earnest money down to help prevent that, but I would say option one still has the sooner closing date, a couple other positive items, including more money.
Well, part of the thing is too, the township doesn't want to be in the real estate business.
No.
That's why we appreciate your help.
Sure.
I think I've told her that 2 times.
We've got some of these properties sitting around that we would just like to get off the books. And
Yep.
Get them on the tax roll, and
Move
this
on.
is just one more example that if we can get this done, we'll move on to, I don't know how many we have left, but we're
Not a
starting to-
lot.
We're starting to pick away at them,
Yep.
so.
100% agree with you. We're not in the real estate business. So sooner.
So if we have a consensus, Chad, from the board, can we just make a motion to accept this option one?
Yes, you can.
Well, I'll make that motion based on what I've seen tonight on the two options offers on the table. I think option one, I'll make a motion to accept offer one.
I'll second that motion.
All right, motion's made and second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Then what's the next step?
Perfect.
It's a lot
So
less complicated than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Next step, if I may, next step should be a resolution directing the town board chair and the town clerk to execute the purchase on behalf of the township.
All right, and that's something staff will work on?
We can do it right now if you want.
Oh,
I'll make that resolution. That,
So again, the motion is, resolution is that the town board is hereby directing the town chair and the town clerk to execute the purchase agreement dated between, give me a second here, because,
Want this one, Chad?
no.
Glasses.
Pull my glasses out. It's getting that bad. Russell Rogers and Sarah Elizabeth Rogers as purchasers, and the town of White Bear Lake, or town of White Bear, I apologize for that one. Town of White Bear, yeah, mega culpa. As seller for a purchase price of $131,000. Property in question is Lot 12, Block 6, Eastwood Manor. And that you're agreeing to, well, basically you approved everything else, but you're directing the town chair and town clerk to execute that agreement.
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second that motion.
all right, motion made second. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? All right,
Awesome.
fine job.
Thank you. And then as far as getting signatures, I can send that out tonight or tomorrow. We could do electronic signatures, or I can have it signed this evening, whatever you guys
Send 'em out
prefer.
tomorrow.
Okay, will do.
Will you
Great.
send them my way too, just so I can walk them through any planning requirements?
Sure. I just want to get your information.
Uh,
Or,
I'll get it too.
okay, sounds
We've
good.
Actually been in
I think you
correspondence.
have. That's Andrew.
Oh, okay, perfect. Andrew, nice to meet you.
You too.
Sure, you need
Sherry?
these back by any chance?
You can have those.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
And your patience.
All right, moving on. Item 9, this is a vacant board commission positions. Why is this on here, Patrick?
Because Steve asked me to.
Why is this on here, Steve?
Because we
Every
have
month.
so many opportunities for our citizens to participate in advising the town board on various matters. And it becomes hard to keep track of which of our commissions and boards have openings. So it's on there so that we can, on a reoccurring basis now, so we can stay on top of this and request that anybody listening or reading about it, if they're interested in assisting the board, that we have openings on the Economic Development Advisory Board, 2 openings. Well, actually, is it 2 now, or is it?
2.
Okay, 2. And the Planning Commission now has 1. And the Utility Commission has 0,
I think we're booked.
because Trey is going to do,
Public safety is also full, correct?
so that's why it's here, so we get people to know.
What about the park board? We haven't, does the park board have any openings?
No, I think it's.
They had, I think, but you were supposed to check. I think they had 1, but I don't.
That's what I thought.
Larry, do you?
We'll confirm.
Okay,
Well, the town board really depends on these commissions. This is a voluntary thing for our residents. We appreciate their time they spend on all these projects, because face it, there's a lot of stuff going on in the town, and the board just can't dive into them as deep as these commissions do. And their recommendations carry a lot of weight with us, so we appreciate what they do for us.
if I'd have read this a little further, it does say the park board has 1 opening.
Fair enough.
And usually these commissions only meet once a month.
Mhm.
It's a couple, 3 hours. And then you get a little taste of what the township's all about.
Trey
So-
came and joined us at the utility board last month, and boy, was that fun for you.
So run right down to the administrative building and sign up.
Easy application.
All right, we have no other added agenda items. We have open time. Ralph, you here for open time? What do you got? Name and address.
Ralph Tilma, 4294 Oakmead Lane. On Monday, July 13th was the day pavement on Oakmead Lane became gravel. We now have a gravel road. It was also the day for trash and recycle, which forced the contractor to remove all of the containers off the pavement before they could do anything with the project. The containers were shoved backwards. They weren't pulled, they were shoved backwards by the contractor, which caused many containers to dump out their contents on the lawn. So I just think it's sensible that before we go ahead with street construction, that maybe somebody ought to check to make sure that they're not trying to do it on the day when we have trash and recycles picked up. The contractor was really irritated. I could hear him swearing about it. The other thing is, a lot of damage was done to the pavement after the seal coat was applied and before it really cooked off into something that was hard. So here's some pictures of that. I don't know if this stuff can be repaired or not, but our street looks like this in many places. Those aren't rubber marks on the pavement. What happened was some contractor got in there with some machinery and did this to the pavement. And what they did was mess up that seal coat. I don't know how that can be fixed because just removing the gravel off the pavement is not going to fix that. That isn't rubber. It isn't rubber marks from tires. It's where the pavement has been moved about and damaged by this equipment, and there's quite a bit of it on the street.
Larry, is that even possible for the seal coat? Is that even possible for the seal coat to damage the actual pavement underneath it?
No, the seal coat is what's damaged, not the pavement beneath it.
Well, but the seal coat is going to be ingranulated with the rock that's put over the top of it.
This was done like a day or two after the seal coat was put on the pavement, so it was possible to take that seal coat and mush it around. If you go out and look at it, you're going to see what I mean. I don't.
You been out there, Larry, or not?
Yeah, I even drove through on my way here again.
Did you see the marks on the pavement?
Yeah, I mean there's marks not only here, but you know when people are exiting their driveway,
Yeah.
turn their wheels, and it roughs up that area, and you kind of see similar thing here.
I don't.
I don't know how you get away from that. It's a matter of you know, it's a surface treatment to protect the pavement beneath it, and some areas are going to have a little more gravel. Some are going to have less gravel. It's never going to be always. They do as a consistent job as they can, but you know, as we kind of want the vehicles to work that gravel. It's a chip product that works its way into that.
Yeah,
pavement.
I noticed that, and I noticed that the heat kind of cooks off this tar thing, so it solidifies. But this happened like a day or two after that seal coat was applied, so it messed it up pretty good. The only thing I wonder is that permanent? Are those marks permanent on our street?
Well, I tell you what we can do, Ralph. After a certain amount of time, I don't know how long before we sweep, after these are done. Once the gravel is driven over, and then we come back, we sweep the streets, we'll reassess the road and take a look at it.
Okay.
That way we'll have a better idea than trying to look through some gravel, some not.
Yeah, okay.
And we'll see what it looks like.
And next week is when they plan to sweep the excess gravel off.
Uh,
We can talk to them about if there's areas that need more coverage, working it. I don't know that, you know, because it's not fresh product that it would do any good, but we can talk to them about that.
okay.
And the heat has been extreme. Who knows? I mean, everybody's getting abused with the heat.
Yeah, okay. Well, I just wondered if that's going to be a permanent feature of our roadway from now on. This area between White Bear Parkway and the first intersection, that's particularly bad in there. I don't know what they did. Somebody maybe did some work. I did see somebody, to think of it, somebody dumped mulch right on the street. And then they took a little front end loader and went in there and did this all over the street. It messed it up pretty good.
We'll reassess it in a week or two here. All right, anyone else?
Trace Billy, 1338 South Birch Lake Boulevard.
Hey, which commission are you on?
I'm on a few of them. I do have a question on the vacant homes that was discussed. Is there a place on the website that lists all of the vacant homes for sale currently, or where would you go to find that information?
A lot of these vacant homes aren't for sale.
Okay. I just know that, like, I think earlier it mentioned that, like, the township was trying to go through them, so I didn't know if there was, like,
Well, that's property that we own.
property that you own then.
No,
Sorry, excuse me.
yeah.
Although we are going through vacant homes too.
But is there, like, on the website or somewhere to find?
We have a list
the
at
property?
staff, but I don't think we've ever posted it.
Okay.
It would be listed as property of White Bear Township.
Yeah.
As the owner, and that's what this property was. It
Yeah.
was our property, and we're not in the real estate business, so as was, I think that property right across from here was our property, township property that turned into this project over here, so.
Yeah.
We're finding them and moving them.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just didn't know if, like, somebody was interested in buying them. Perhaps me.
Well, the board decided a couple, 3 years ago to pull all these up and start aggressively trying to market them.
Gotcha.
So we can get them on the tax.
Trey, just get a hold of me and I can have Tom identify which properties we have left. It's not a lot.
Okay.
It's under a half dozen.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know. So. Cool. Appreciate it.
I was gonna say, just keep in mind that if the town decides to sell property, has to go through a process of declaring surplus property and then putting it on the market. So it'll be in the public records. Also, you also keep in mind that even though property appears in the township's name, a lot of the property was acquired through tax forfeiture.
Yes.
Those were use deeds, which means the town is not as restricted ability to get to deal with those lots.
Yeah, my family buys a lot of tax properties, so
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
yeah, that's what I was interested in them. So
Yeah, no, that's a common misconception that because we have the title to it, the town has the title to it, the town has the right to sell it. No.
Yep.
Because of the use deeds, we don't.
Especially around the lake. So
Yes.
we can't sell them anyway, even if we wanted to.
Yep. Cool. Yeah. Yep. Cool.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? Nope. Going once, going twice. All right, I need a motion to receive agenda materials and supplements.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And I need a motion to adjourn at 8:37.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I was gonna ask Ralphie when he's back.
Ralph, you want your pictures back? That's for Larry?
We'll introduce them into